Hey, what's up YouTube? So I'm uploading this video of me playing Spelunky for one of my clanmates. Check it out. Hopefully plan on convincing him to play it. Hopefully it also convinces some of you guys to play it. It's a really fun game, but I will warn you, it can be mind-numbingly aggravating from time to time. So without that, let's get started. Pretty much think of it like a typical platformer, kind of like Mario. You pretty much jump on stuff to kill it. You also have a whip, bombs, and ropes. To start with, you can get other items as you go along. This is the damsel. There's a tutorial at the beginning of the game you can play. I've already played through it, so I'm skipping it. But if you get these damsels and you get them to the end of a level, she will kiss you at the end of it and give you an extra hit to your life points, which you're going to need a lot. So the next big thing to look out for is shopkeepers. There's two options here. You can either bomb him, which is going to spawn a shopkeeper at the end of every level at the exit door, and they will instant kill you unless you have very high hit points with their shotguns. So I'd advise against it unless you've been playing for a while and gotten really good. This case, I don't have much gold, so I'm going to go ahead and go for it and see what happens, because I really want that compass and those climbing gloves. So the trick is he works alongside your movement, so you want to work that out to make sure that he goes and falls and get to places where hopefully he'll either die on his own from things such as spikes, or fall traps, or whatever. And I just killed that damsel, so she's of no use to us. And that is exactly what I was talking about. That's why you typically don't anger off the shopkeepers. So after you start, quick restart's fine. It doesn't disable any trophies if you use it or start from the entrance again. Good tip and trick. Carry a rock or something around. You can use it to throw at enemies. It sets off booby traps. And if you're going for the 500,000 gold playthrough, I advise you break all pots, because they will have gems in them, like that one. Spider webs, they're not really a big deal. You can walk through them. They're actually useful for capturing your enemies, because they can't pass through them unless it's a spider, which in that case, watch out. And then you can capture them there, so it's easier to kill them. It does last for a limited amount of time though. If the enemies struggle or you struggle, the cobwebs do break, so just be careful of that. If there's any gems at all that are easy to get, I definitely recommend getting them. It's gonna make this so much easier. That was a giant spider. Those are really dangerous. You want to watch out for those. They'll pretty much kill you straight from the beginning of the game with 2 hits or less, depending on, well, no, it's always 2 hits. So this is another shopkeeper, but he's a little different. He's guarding those two chests, and they have a lot of high-level gems, which you're going to need if you're going for the 500,000 playthrough. But overall, game mechanics are pretty easy. It's just mainly being cautious. Obviously, don't take too high of falls. Don't take enemies head on. Tips and tricks like that. Best thing to do is, if you can, get a shotgun or something that's stronger, even if it's just like a boomerang early on. It can stun, which is a big help, because a lot of these enemies, once you get past the mines, are going to take at least 2 hits or more to kill them, and a lot of them won't be able to be killed by your whip. If you're looking for an easy playthrough, it might be worth it to go through the worm level, which, if you capture the damsel, there'll be a sticky red ball in any level after the mines. It can show up in the... I just died again because I wasn't paying attention. It can show up in the jungle, the ice caves, and I believe it can show up in the temple. So, major trick there, like I said, if you don't have a rock, use your ropes and your bombs to trigger off those arrow traps. Trust me, it's worth it. The last thing you want to do is start losing your hit points early on. You want to stay healthy and get as many extra health points as possible early on. One of the best tips for this is, if you save up your gold, go until you find a kissing booth. It's a shopkeeper, but you'll see the little red light, meaning the red light district. And there'll be a damsel there, and for money she will kiss you, which then you can rack up a lot of hit points really quick. And it will keep you alive against pretty much anything, because there's very few things that are true insta-death in this game. So it's really smart to do that if you find it. Also, super important, if you find it in a shopkeeper's inventory, always buy the compass. It's a huge help. As you can see, it makes it definitely a lot easier when you're trying to speedrun a level. So that's also what you're going to need for the 8-minute game clear, which really, the more I play, isn't too bad. I can clear most of the levels in the mines and at least in the ice caves in under 15 seconds if I really want to. And if you're unfortunate, there's actually a level where it pops up and says it sounds like rushing water. There is no true floor to your dungeon on that floor. Instead, you're looking at a floor of water where there's a gigantic piranha called Old Bitey, and you don't want to fall down there because I can pretty much guarantee you're not getting out. So, as you see, my eye just flashed, which is good. So that means that we found the black market. Okay. Awesome. And we've got enough gold to actually buy the Ankh. So it's actually a really big plus. Means that we get to do this next step without any concerns of dying. Because trying to get the Ankh if you don't have the money for it, never mind, it's 50,000. I thought it was 20,000. So now comes the next hard part. You have to somehow get this Ankh without dying to all the shopkeepers. Which is much easier said than done. Okay, so this one's shopkeeper down. And as you see, what happens is if you die with the Ankh, you automatically get revived. And I just wasted it, so we're gonna restart here in a minute. And start all over. So, yeah, the most important thing is to gather supplies and gather gold as you go down, no matter what. The only one that you don't worry about when doing that is when you're doing your Spelunky run. Then just screw all that, because none of it matters. Unless you get lucky, get enough gold to get a lot of bombs, and just basically bomb your way straight through the floor to the end, which can be helpful if you're cautious. So, okay. So, as you can see, I'm obviously not that great yet. I can pull through, definitely, but I still die a lot. The game is very, very grueling. It has a very high learning curve. Because you'll get going, you'll be having a great run, and then you come across floor setup, and you either run out of items, or whatever the case, you come across a new trap, or a trap that's impassable. Because every floor has a path that you can get to the end with, but if you start messing around with the terrain, that can change very quickly. So, here's my exit. I'm just gonna go for it. So, this level, I hear snakes, I hate snakes. Somewhere in here there's a giant snake pit, paying homage to Indiana Jones. Looking, I don't see it yet. And see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Trying to do stupid stuff you think you can do, and is outside of game parameter mechanics. So if you take too long on the floor, it's 2 minutes and 30 seconds you have a timer for. They don't show it, but if you get past that, you'll get a message saying a terrible chill ran down my spine. That means that the ghost is about to appear. When he appears, it's an instant death no matter how many you have for hit points. So I'd avoid them if at all possible. One of the methods to get 50,000 gold or 500,000 gold is to let him come out and set up a course run on your map, because any gem that he touches that's a full-size gem will automatically turn to a diamond. Diamonds are worth 5,000 gold per piece, so they're definitely make it that much easier to get your max gold out. But you have to make sure you have several escapes, because if you don't, they will most definitely get you stuck and kill you. Okay, so this is probably one of the best items in the game. This is the jetpack. It lets you bypass climbing, and pretty much bypass bombing also. You can get around pretty much anywhere once you have this without any trouble. Another fun one to use is the teleporter, but the trick to the teleporter is if you do it wrong, you're going to end up in a solid wall and instantly die. It's actually pretty funny to watch on the final area in the temple. There is little alligator worshippers, and they can actually teleport too, and they do it all the time. They'll get so upset they'll start teleporting all over the place and end up in a solid wall, effectively killing themselves. Okay, so I got the Ujat eye, so we're all set with that. Definitely important, like I said, to watch your HP. Nice, I got a compass, so now I don't have to worry about having not bought that earlier when I bought the jetpack. This case, it's best to get glue since we're going for the City of Gold. It's going to make it 10 times easier to kill Anubis when we get to him here or later on. Also, the jetpack saves you from falls, which is nice. I thought I heard a damsel, but I don't see her, so we're gonna have to continue. So at this point, I can pretty much guarantee you we're gonna have to take on the shopkeepers, which is gonna suck, but you know, you make do with what you got. The jetpack will semi-help with that. but I just don't foresee us getting enough gold now. Okay. So, super important at this point, we're halfway through the jungle levels and we haven't had the eye go off yet. Meaning it's pretty much guaranteed it's going to be on this floor, and we need to watch very closely. Like I said, right there it blinked. There we go. Okay, so gonna save the video here quick.